So we all know this trumpet solo from Penny Lane. But there's a little bit of a story on getting a classical piccolo trumpet onto a rock song. Paul was watching TV and he heard the Brandenburg Concerto No. 2 by Johann Sebastian Bach, no less, being performed. By the way, you know it. Told you. Anyway, he loved the sound of that trumpet. And so he talked to George Martin and said, I have to have that in my song. And not just that trumpet, but the trumpeter himself. Being who he was, George had that trumpeter in the Abbey Road studios within days. He was a friend. His name was David Mason, and he was with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. He's such a virtuoso that the Royal College of Music awards a David Mason Prize annually for orchestral trumpet playing. He's that good. Now, funny thing is, he didn't know who the Beatles were. This was just another job. When he got there and met them, he looked at their mustaches and the clothes they were wearing, and he said, "Did you just come off a film set?" And John, of course, said, No, we dress this way every day." They tried several things, and they decided to use a piccolo trumpet in A. As a side note, I used to play trumpet, 60 years ago. But till this very day, I had no idea that a piccolo trumpet had 4 valves instead of the usual 3. How about that? Now, Paul hummed the notes he wanted, and George Martin transcribed it into music that David could play. And when they were done and ready, the music had a high E note in it, which was considered a note that was impossible to play on that instrument. So David stepped in and played a take. As Jeff Emmerich put it, he nailed it. Apparently, David Mason thought so too, because Paul, being the over-perfectionist that he is, asked for another take, and Mason refused. George Martin finally convinced Paul to let it go. But we all know Paul, and that had to be killing him. And this was another first for the boys. The first time a piccolo trumpet had been played on a rock recording. And many people say that this just kind of opened the door for more orchestral experimentation in rock music. Now, years later, Mason, by all accounts a relatively humble guy, was asked about his trumpet solo in Penny Lane. And he said, I don't want to seem immodest, but I think the trumpet made the song. And I'd say there's millions of us that agree with you, David.